It's Tuesday, February 7th, 2017, and yep, the curse of Buffalo lives on. I mean, come on, people. Did you really think that we could win 2 in a row in Buffalo? I mean, that wouldn't be so Sharks. But this choke job was Buffalo wins 5-4 in overtime. Thanks to Evander Kane, who may not even be with the Buffalo Sabres by the end of the month. With that, welcome to this edition of Pucknology After Dark. We will be joined by Ian Reed in just a jiffy, but first, we want to remind you that we are presented by Audible, an Amazon company, where you can sign up for a free 30-day trial and you can search up to 180,000 audiobooks. Maybe one of them should be How to Hold a Third Period Lead. Maybe they can then loan it out to the Toronto Maple Leafs afterwards. You get a free book, you help support the show, everyone wins. So visit audibletrial.com/PAD to sign up today. Of course, we also want you to subscribe. This is a live interactive Sharks postgame show after every game. For more Sharks news and opinions, and hopefully there'll be more coming soon, visit pucknology.net. You can also visit our social media channels on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, and of course, Ian's Pucknology Writers Room. With us tonight, the angry Canadian, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's really angry tonight, Ian Reed.
I think I have to be calm for the two of us.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we'll
one of
have.
us has to be calm. So I'm the calm here, or what?
You're the calm one. I will be the angry hockey person. It'll be huge. And trust me, folks, after that display of garbage in the third period, well, actually we should say that's so Falcons. But make sure you join the conversation by using the hashtag PucknologyAD on the Twitter machine. You can also follow us on Twitter. Tonight you have I Read Pucknology and yours truly at PuckGuy14. You can also chat on the YouTube page and on the app as well. All right, that being said, I'm going to do my best that I can. Try not to make sure it's not super salty edition, but Ian, your initial thoughts after this embarrassment to humankind?
See, I don't think it was that bad. I think that, honestly, I mean, it's bad, but I don't think it's as bad as it's being made out to be. Jones just had a really shitty night. He looked okay. Like, I thought he looked pretty decent. I thought the Sharks pretty much had their way with Buffalo through most of the game. But when things turned around, like, I didn't like any of those last three goals. Well, maybe not the overtime one. I guess the overtime one probably wasn't terrible, but the two before that, even take the inconclusive icing out of the situation. I thought they were soft.
They looked like a team that was just got into town the night before or the day before and had a lead and then went, we got this. I mean, come on. Why would we tell you that? Come on. Yeah. All right. So first period, Sharks get on the board, they thought they did. Timo Meier fired the puck in the net, and the Sharks get on the board 1-0. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have a review to announce.
There's no review. It's not reviewable play.
Oh, but why do they need to go to Toronto for it then? Yeah, okay.
He just has to tell the worm that he blew his whistle, or he intended to blow his whistle. We shouldn't spend too much time on this because honestly, this is something that happens all the time.
Yes, it does. It's scary.
It's right, but I mean, it's human error. I thought that Jamie Baker on the broadcast tried to make like this false equivalence of, well, if it was offside, we could go back 20 seconds. The difference between offside or goaltender interference and this is goal. Offsides are illegal. Goaltender interference is illegal. the referee blowing the whistle too quick isn't illegal. It's just human error, and humans make mistakes. And I understand it's shitty, especially looking back that, yes, this, obviously the way we've seen it, the ref shouldn't have blown the whistle, but the ref's human at the end of the day. This is a call that happens all the time. I really, 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 and I was on this on Twitter, and I know it's not the most popular opinion, and that's fine. But in my opinion, like, do we really want to add more replay, more reviews to slow down this game even more? Like, are we not, like, the last thing I think a lot of sports need to do? I think if you look at other sports that have really, upped their review processes on different plays, it slows down the game. And I would rather have a quick game with human error than watch 5 minutes of referees looking at an iPod.
I mean, that review in the third period, and we'll get to that a little bit later, more in depth. But that review shouldn't have taken 3 minutes.
No,
I mean, I think in the NFL they're supposed to have a time limit on how long they can review it, and I think that's what they need to go through in the NHL, because a lot of these are taking forever, especially the challenges on offsides. This is the picture that Brody Brazil tweeted out and was gracious enough to allow us to use it. So yes, we do have express written consent. The
Major League Baseball.
As you can see, the puck is already in the net. I think it already had hit the back of the net, and this is when, according to Brody, when the audio for the whistle was starting to go.
Doesn't matter, though. It's irrelevant. If the referee loses sight and he intends to blow the whistle, we know that's the rule. It
Right.
sucks, but that's the rule. It doesn't matter. I mean,
we could. I'm just putting this out there. That's all.
No, I know, and I think it's fine, but I really think that at the end of the day, it's a red herring. If the referee intends to blow the whistle, play's dead. Doesn't matter if you blew it too quick, too soon, too late. It is what it is. It's human error.
Correct me on this. This is throughout Canadian juniors, international play, NHL.
North American hockey for sure. I can't speak for Europe.
Okay, no, that's why I wanted to know where the intent goes. Like Chris Cheeto, yes, Sharks won the popular vote. Yes, of course. Yes. Anywho, so no goal. I think the Sharks were a little frustrated after that, and it led to Jumbo taking a holding call. And the joke there, of course, was he didn't intend to hold the guy, but he ended up getting a penalty for it.
Right.
Matt Molsonberry's in for his 11th of the season at 7:24 from Gionta Ennis, make it 1-0. I thought the Sharks were still a little frazzled out of that, and I thought, oh boy, this could be one of those games where they're just out of it from the get-go just because of a bad call, which we've seen before.
Mm-hmm. Bad calls happen.
Yeah.
They're a fact of life. I mean, I don't know. I there are so many more things wrong with this game than the referees, in my opinion. Like,
oh no. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I thought the guys got back on track once Joel Ward tipped in Burnsy's shot for his sixth of the year. 14:03 of the first. I thought, okay, cool. They're getting it back, and then Logan gets his 19th of the year. Logan's starting to kind of get things going a little bit more, which is good. From Bodker and Vlasic, and this is the one I liked. Ian was Bodker did I call it the anti-jumbo, where Jumbo will get to near the top of the face-off circle, turn around and wait for help to come aboard. Right. But Bodker went to the net, put it on net, and because of this team speed that they have on this line, Couture was able to grab it and bury it.
Yeah, no, it was nice. I mean, there was 50 minutes of really good hockey there for the Sharks.
Oh yeah. Second, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, just go on.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. Melker Karlsson buries a loose puck that I think Haley was trying to set up Sorensen for, but it went off of Sorensen's skate. which means Marcus Sorensen, who we thought would be actually on the opening night roster, plays in his first NHL game, gets his first NHL point.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Sorensen looked okay for his first game in the NHL. I thought, he looked like he had a lot of zip. I didn't really have a problem with Sorensen's game, but Carlson giveth and then Carlson taketh away.
Yeah, no, it was that fourth line, I thought played an excellent 2.5 periods tonight.
Yeah, I thought they were great. Carlson just, I mean, if we want to get to there, I mean, Carlson just made a boneheaded mistake and something that you just can't do in the NHL. You can't throw a stick.
Yeah.
And I know people were like, well, that's a really dumb rule. And it isn't, because they kind of, I mean, they don't, the NHL's smart and they don't put situations on thing. What used to happen a lot was if someone shot an open net, people would just start whipping their sticks down the net to try and knock it away from the open net. And someone was obviously going to get killed eventually by people javelining their sticks down the ice to try and stop a puck from going in. So they made it a penalty. And I think that, it was harmless. And it was like, it's like, I think I tweeted after, I'm like, the road to hell is paved in good intentions. I mean, he had the right idea. You have to hand it off. You can't throw the stick.
Right. You gotta get it all the way over there to make it. You can't throw the stick. And it's likewise when you throw it the other way around. If you're trying to stop a defender, like you were mentioning.
That's my Pucknology wrong choice.
Good call. Coming up for many of you, the 3 poop emojis of the game. That'll be coming up in just a second. But first, the Sharks actually scored a power play goal. Yes, we're banging the drum for AJ here. Pavelski on a sweet one-timer at 6:07, made it 4-1, and you're thinking, all right, we're going to get back-to-back wins in Buffalo. Take that, Sabres.
And everything looked that way. I mean, the whole team was just like, I didn't think Buffalo goalie was that great. I thought, like, I didn't really think much of some of the goals. Like, I think it was the first goal, and I'm like, that is not a goal an NHL goalie should let in, period. I mean, it looked like they had the game well in hand.
Yeah, they did, and they should have. O'Reilly with his 11th on the power play after Burns takes a hooking call. You kind of start seeing, okay, this is okay. It's still a hockey game here, right. And then of course Melker, takes that good intention penalty. I mean, they didn't score on it, but it was like not even a half a minute later that Evander Kane scores from Franson and Gianton, and then all of a sudden now it's 4-3. You can hear, Rick Jeanneret from here going, "Oh my God, could they make the comeback?" And then not even a minute later, Kyle Okposo, which I thought was a bad defensive breakdown and bad communication on the team to tie it up at 4.
Yeah. And was that the reviewed goal that tied up at 4? Or is that the one that wins 3?
It was 4-3.
4-3, yeah. And see, even that, like, I know, again, a lot of people were like, oh, inconclusive. That never goes our way. I'm surprised it was inconclusive. I thought from the replay I saw that it was clearly onside.
It looked onside. I mean, I could see why some people were saying, well, he doesn't have possession of the puck, but the puck was still in the zone. Yeah, so I could see why there was concern for it, but nonetheless, it is what it is. So you had 3 breakdowns on the 3 goals in the third. You had Carlson, with the toss, which might have distracted Jones for that matter, to get it to 4-2. Then you are fighting the momentum off from Buffalo, and you're wondering, hey, is it offside? Kane makes it 4-3. Of course, PDB reviews it, which is nice because I think more than anything that was more for a timeout. I'm not sure if you knew.
It was kind of like, why is he reviewing this play? But I mean, it worked out for him. He got a 3-minute timeout out of it, and That's exactly why I hate this rule.
Yeah, and seriously, it should be. It should be. Yeah, I'm still iffy on the offside reviews. And then Okposo, a minute later. I mean, you saw it coming. Pavelski looked like he was going to take the middleman, and Braun was already getting the middleman. And when Pavelski was trailing and taking the middleman, that left Okposo wide open for that shot. And I saw him set up for. I was like, ah, crap, here it comes. I mean, yeah, Joner got a piece of it, but that was tough. Yeah, and then in overtime, Evander Kane, a minute 5 into overtime, sends Buffalo into excitementville.
Right.
You know, Kane had a great game, 2 goals, nice shots. But man, you pick up a point, but man, that one's a tough one to take.
Yeah, I just, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I don't know. This game was so frustrating to me. I just think I don't know. I think it just frustrates me for different reasons than other people, and I don't know why that is, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I just think Martin Jones was fucking terrible tonight. And I think if you want to, you can talk about defensive breakdowns and stuff, but your last line of defense is your goaltender, and Martin Jones didn't make saves that he normally makes, and he looked really off this game, and even the last game he looked, he didn't look that great in the shootout. Now, granted, I said too, it's a shootout, big fucking deal. It's a skills competition, but I don't know. Like, he hasn't really seen. I don't know. He seemed off tonight, and I really hope that Aaron Dell's starting the next game, because he just looks unfocused, and I don't know what that is or why that is. I don't know.
Yeah, and the guys are going to have some time down the road to rest before they go through their hellacious march. But I just think that it'd be best for them to get more starts out of Dell, because I mean, if you're going to have Jones start 70 games, that's just asking for trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. Rob Humphrey in the chat saying it's the new pants. It's the new pants.
Well, they are 0-2 now.
That's true. Apparently, though, Jones had been wearing them a couple. He said that he had been wearing them a couple of weeks. So,
yeah, going into the chat. Let's see here. Rob Iman agrees with you. I'd start Aaron Dell on Thursday to send a message.
I didn't think you have to send a message. I think like, look, you don't need to send a message to Martin Jones. Martin Jones knows he had a shitty game, and without Martin Jones, this team's a complete clusterfuck halfway through the year, in my opinion. Like, the Jones is a big part of the reason the Sharks are where they are right now, and to just completely look, and I'm pretty pissed off at him tonight. I think he had a shitty game, but I'm not gonna just. I don't know. I don't have the memory of a goldfish that seems to be hockey fans, where they only remember the last 3 games and that's it. Like, I don't know.
Niemi and Lehtinen called. They want their goaltending and performance back, I think is probably the best way to put it. Gen X going, "Ay caramba!" Yes, very nice. Rob makes another good point here. Maybe make the offside challenge a delay of game penalty if they lose the challenge. That would be. Your thoughts on that?
Just get rid of it. If you don't gimmick it up more, get rid of it. Yeah. If you have to gimmick it up more, then it's not worth. Is it worth it? No.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a league that cries that it wants more scoring, and then it overturns an offside for something you can't even see with the naked eye. Like, I don't know.
And this is where we have all the all the cameras all over the place, on the blue lines, in the posts, in the back of the net. So to cover up the stats, the Sharks outshot Buffalo 40-36. They actually,
that's a better hockey.
Yeah, they played the better game. They even outdid in the face-off circle 60% to 40. And they had a great night in the face-off circle, although Jumbo was 20%, Logan was 33%. Michael Haley was 75% in the face-off circle. Mark Carlson was perfect in the face-off circle. I mean, it was overall, outside of Wardo at 43, Couture, and Jumbo, this team had a great night in the face-off circle for sure.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I know we've kind of been, I don't know if we've talked about it on air. I'm sure we have, but like, the face-off drums one, I think we beat too hard because this team is still a solid possession team, and some of the best face-off teams in the league are the worst teams in the league. So maybe we've banged that drum a little too hard.
Oh wow, Chester Chivo. Oh boy, might as well show this off.
Oh no,
Chester Chivo. Unfortunately, you win the tweet of the night. The Sharks' new alternate logo. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Creative, but that's painful. Yeah. Definitely. All right. But Sharks went 1 for 3 on the power play on that goal from Pavelski. They did give up 2, which their penalty kill has been improving as of late, but unfortunately, they gave up 2 power play goals to Buffalo. And let's be real, Buffalo is a team on the rise. Don't let their position in the Eastern Conference fool you. They're going to be good. They may not be good right now, but they are just only 5 points out of a playoff spot too. So
like it was 7 points separating the worst team in the East from the second wild card or something like that.
It's like Phillies at 59 and last place Tampa and Detroit are at 54 along with Buffalo.
Yeah. So there you go.
I think Steve Dangle said in one of his videos is like, you get on a hot streak one week, you're right back in the playoff race.
Yeah, no, it's completely true. And the thing with Buffalo too is people have to remember is they spent, a lot of that early time in the year when they were just free falling. Jack Eichel wasn't there, and since Eichel's come back, they've kind of been somewhat respectable. And Eichel, Ryan O'Reilly, as much as I hate to admit it, Evander Kane, I mean, these guys are all dangerous NHL,
and Kyle Okposo
scores, and Kyle Okposo too, which they got for.
And these guys made a major play for Stamkos. I mean, just picture Stamkos on this team with these guys. Oh my goodness!
Man, they still need someone to play defense.
That's true. So with the point, granted they get the loser point. The Sharks do go to 70 on the year, so at least they're not losing games horribly. But Ian, why don't we go around the NHL while I get these standings updated?
Oh, you want me to go around the NHL? All right, give me a second. I gotta bring it up.
Just as a reminder, make sure you subscribe down below or to the side or wherever it's at. We are a live interactive Sharks post-game show. We follow after every game. There's there are 4 Pacific Division teams who played early games this afternoon, although now it's evening out here in the West Coast.
I was going to say afternoon.
Well, it started the afternoon here, so
out there, I understand.
Yeah, but
I understand how the time zones work now. Little me didn't, but big me does. All right, so St. Louis destroyed the Ottawa Senators by a score of 6-0. I think the Blues are what? I think they're 2-1 now since getting rid of Hitchcock.
Yeah.
The Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Dallas Stars by a score of 3-1. The Washington Capitals beat Drew Weber's Carolina Hurricanes 5-0 in overtime. So Calgary won in overtime and go over Pittsburgh. The New York Rangers beat the Anaheim Ducks by a score of 4-1. Currently in the second period, the Colorado Avalanche lead the Montreal Canadiens by a score of 2-0. The Minnesota Wild are beating the Winnipeg Jets in the third period by a score of 3-2. And finally, the Nashville Predators are currently beating the Vancouver Canucks in the third period by a score of 2-1.
Did somebody say Vancouver?
I just did.
Thank you.
And that is your Around the Score leagues. Not a whole lot exciting going on, obviously. See if anything else is going on that I'm missing.
Claude Julien got fired today in the middle
Yes,
of
Claude Julien got fired today.
in the middle of the Patriots parade.
I was having fun listening to the media complain. Oh, and I didn't scroll far enough over. I have more end results to tell about.
Go ahead.
The Tampa Bay Lightning destroyed the LA Kings by a score of 5-0, and the Columbus Blue Jackets beat the Detroit Red Wings in overtime by a score of 3-2.
Ooh.
And there you have it. Now I've really for real got you up to speed.
Thank you, Ian Reed. And with that, we will pull up the standings as we speak. Thank you for covering for me at that time. So the Sharks do pick up the point. They are at 70 points. They have a 4-point cushion on Anaheim, which Ian said lost tonight to the Rangers. Edmonton was idle, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, they were idle tonight.
Okay, so they'll hang on to a 4-point lead going into tomorrow's action. Calgary moves up to 59 points, and they take over the first wild card. LA loses, so they stay at 58. Vancouver, at the moment, sits at 52, and watch out, here come the Desert Dogs. They're at 40 points. They're only...
They don't play the Sharks enough times to make the playoffs.
No, they're only 26 points behind the third position in the Pacific. So, of course, as we would say, if the season ended today, which we're technically into that territory that we could talk about it, the Sharks would take on the Calgary Flames in round one.
Can't win. I mean, they should win, but that's just like, I feel bad because, like, I mean, at least it's kind of working like it should. I think in the West, I think in the East, you're probably kind of screwed depending on who you play. Because if you're like, if you're in the Central, in the Metro, you're gonna have to play a really good team where whoever finishes second in the Atlantic is like that second third matchup's going to be between two garbage teams, and then a really good team is going to get put out in the Metro. So it is what it is.
So here's the matchups in the East, and I'm going to kind of play with it here. So Washington is at 80 points. They would take on the Flyers, so it would be a rematch of round one of last year. Columbus and Pittsburgh would play each other again like they did 2 years ago. It would be Montreal against the Rangers, and technically the Rangers have one more point than Montreal does at the moment.
Okay.
And then it would be the Battle of Ontario. It would be Ottawa versus Toronto. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be fun?
I guess. I mean, I don't think Ottawa's very good. I don't know.
But how are they hanging on to that number 2 spot?
Because the Atlantic's brutal. Like, look at the Atlantic Division. Like, what do you got there? You've got the Panthers, who have completely fallen off this year. The Lightning, who have ridiculous. I mean, forget falling off. They've basically been like, they're sleeping with the fish at this point. There's like cement around their feet. They're at the bottom of the river. They're not coming back. You got Boston, who just fired their coach and who's had a mediocre year at best, probably better than they should. And so that leaves you basically Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa. I mean, the Atlantic's terrible. It really is.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the Atlantic. I thought, I mean, obviously Montreal has a division lead, but I thought there would be more.
Well, Tampa, I mean, both Tampa and Florida lost serious pieces to injuries at the start of the year for a significant amount of times. Like, they just got Huberdeau back, and they got someone else back too, and I'm not remembering. Barkov, yes. And then, and then Tampa lost Stamkos, and I feel like they've had just a rotation of guys coming in and out of the lineup. So when you take on the injuries that a couple of these teams have taken, I mean, it can derail your whole season. And I think that's really what happened there. Ottawa, they might not be the best team as far as like on paper goes, but they seem to find a way to get things done. Toronto's got a lot of exciting young talent on it, and maybe they're a little bit ahead of schedule, but the kind of the surrounding situation too. And then Detroit, who I didn't even mention, is also terrible. I mean, it's the perfect storm for teams that are just mediocre enough to kind of rise to the top. And I think Ottawa definitely fits the bill, and I think the Leafs kind of fit the bill, even though the Leafs are probably a lot more fun to watch than the Senators.
They are, but they've given up so many leads in the third, and for that matter, I think it's like they've allowed 21 goals in their last 4 games. That's not good. Even Dallas is laughing at them as we speak.
Yeah,
and they beat Dallas tonight.
M. Hackle saying that Tampa should trade Stamkos. No one is trading for that contract, my friend. Unless you're a cash-rich team, you're not taking that contract on because it's all signing bonus.
How much is he against the cap? Or is it an average?
It doesn't matter. You still make whatever your signing bonus is, still counts against the cap. The difference is that you'd want to be on a cash-rich team because if there's a lockout, he's still getting paid millions. Like I think he's getting paid a stupid amount of millions of dollars because it's a signing bonus.
Weren't they supposed to get rid of that during this last lockout? I thought that was their big to-do.
No, because they have term limits now. Before they could just really fudge the numbers. But I mean, he still counts with I think against like 7 or 8 against the cap. But his actual salary I think is only $1 million each year, and whatever else he's making that year is all signing bonus. So he gets that money regardless of whether the league gets locked out. He still gets paid.
Goodness gracious! Oh man. Yeah, an average in AAV or the cap hits at 8.5 mil.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so it take Logan Couture and what, maybe Mikkel Bodker to Tampa for Stamkos. Let's get that.
Yes, here, take. Well, I mean, not that I think Logan Couture is garbage, but
no, I'm just putting that out there.
No, they're not taking Bodker.
No.
They're going to take Logan Couture, and then they're going to take another prospect just to wash it down.
Well, Toronto was really interested in Vesatoskala, and Doug said, well, if you want Vesatoskala, then you got to take Mark Bell.
Well, that was before the salary. I mean, that was before the salary cap got to the point where it is now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just, there's that possibility to it. So we've kind of went over all of that. In the West, you would have Minnesota would be taking on the I put it on the wrong thing. Minnesota would take on the Nashville Predators in round 1. So you'd have the turn of the century expansion rivalry, and then it would be Chicago and St. Louis. How did St. Louis, with those 2 wins in a row, and they beat they beat Ottawa 6-0. Jeez, they moved into the number 3 spot just like that.
Yeah,
I mean, so it would be Chicago, St. Louis, Minnesota, Nashville, San Jose, Carolina. Got Drew Weber excited for a second there. San Jose, Calgary, and Anaheim, Edmonton. There's some right now, and I know Janice is like, well, if the sun exploded tomorrow. Yeah, okay, I know that, but still. I mean, those are all pretty nice playoff matches. You have geographical rivalries, you have old rivalries coming back into play, like San Jose, Calgary, or Ottawa and Toronto. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's still. I think the one thing that I do like about this playoff setup, and I know a lot of people don't, but I feel like you always get that. The first round is usually pretty good because you're generally playing a team that you hate. And I know some people don't like that because obviously you get tired of seeing the same teams all the time. Like, at some point, LA is going to sneak back into this thing, and then we'll be playing LA, and everyone would be like, LA again. God, why? But I like that. I kind of like that, the kind of the forced rivalry where you're always playing like, everyone in your division you should probably hate at this point. So I think it does a good job of kind of making the first round more intriguing. And then after the first round, that kind of takes care of itself, right? Like obviously by the time you get, especially once you get to the conference finals, I mean, you're either going to be invested or you're not at that point anyway. If your team's in it, obviously you're invested. And then if, and depending on what your level of hockey fandom is, I mean, I'll watch the cup final, all the way through. I don't care if the Sharks are bounced in the first round or the third round. Like I'm still going to watch the rest of it. The only year I didn't watch the rest of the playoffs, I think, is the series that never happened, because I was just really wounded by that.
Oh, that one.
I'm not going to bring it up. It never happened.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Right. And then I think at that point I was like, yeah, I can't deal. I was so bitter at that point. I'm just like, I can't even watch.
I think we all were. So we apparently have a sponsor for it. Apparently it's time now for the X-Lax 3 poop emojis of the game.
Oh, nice.
Let's go with poop emoji number 3. Who would you say that was, Ian?
Poop emoji number 3. Oh man, I have to go with 3 of these things. Jeez. Who do I hate today?
Besides me.
Really,
sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm not really mad at anybody. I can't just give them all to Martin Jones. So what am I going to do? I don't know.
I'll start this one off.
Okay.
I'll start with poop emoji number 3. Logan Couture went, oh shit, I need to get back. It's a 2-on-1. We're not playing 5-on-5. That kind of helped set up the game-winning goal. I at least I thought. You have one for number 2?
Yeah, it's Martin Jones, hands down. If I'm giving you a poop emoji, it's Jonesy. Man, Jonesy, look at. I love Jonesy, and I don't think that, we shouldn't really, like, as angry as I am with him right now, I don't think we should really, carry this forward any further than tonight. Tonight was a bad night. And hopefully he improves, and hopefully he gets a rest. But yeah, I mean, Jones wasn't himself tonight, and I don't care what the team looked like in front of him. He just wasn't good enough, period. So he gets my poop emoji for sure.
And since you gave him number 2, which technically should be number 1, because number 2, poop emoji, kind of seems like the top billing of it. So first poop emoji, I gotta. It's a tie between Melker and Pavs. Melker, obviously didn't know the rules. Like we said, good intentions, but
good intention. You can't really give him. I mean, he's so. And I thought about going with Melker Karlsson so you could poop emoji Joner, but I just, you know what? Yeah, it was dumb, and yeah, he should know the damn rules of the NHL at this point. But it's such a weird gaffe for him. Like, it's not like the one thing Melker Karlsson. The thing I really like about Melker Karlsson is he's steady. He doesn't make mistakes,
right?
And so I really feel bad, being like, oh well, I did give him the misplay of the game, but to just really say you were the shittiest player on the ice tonight, I can't go there. I just can't do it.
And the thing is that a lot of these guys, forward wise, had a good game. Couture had a goal. Karlsson had a goal. Pavelski had a goal, but they also had.
Call it a night, then?
I'm sorry.
I say, can we just blame Brendan Dillon and call it a night then?
Do you really want to upset Rocket and have her come on and take her? Wow.
I ain't scared of Rocket.
Somebody have that isolated so we can play that later for her.
She knows I ain't scared.
Dude, you do not.
I don't know if Dylan actually did anything bad, but I'm gonna blame him anyway. Do we have any update on Paul Martin? That's what I was gonna try and look up here. That's a good question, because I didn't really notice him after he took the puck to the face. So hopefully that's not anything significant. Although I'm kind of like, this makes me a terrible effing human being, but there's a part of me who's like really like, yeah, if We get a look
Somebody
at
wants to see.
if we get a look at Joachim Ryan now because of that, I'm not exactly going to complain. I know that makes me a terrible human being.
No, I know what you're getting at, and I totally
Oh, he did
understand
come
that.
back. So Justin said he did come back after getting hit. So there we go. I didn't really pay attention for him. I mean, Paul Martin plays such a quiet game that, unless he really screws up or unless he does something really great, you don't really notice him out there anyway because the spotlight's obviously going to be on his defensive partner.
Yeah, and he took a shot earlier in the game, so you have that against him. Then he takes the high stick where he goes off. That was concerning. The other thing too is I'm kind of surprised that the spotter didn't want to go take a look at Martin Jones in overtime with that
It's funny
shot.
because until I saw that front view, I was like, "Oh, look, Martin Jones learned something from Mike Smith." But then I saw the front view where he took the shoulder in the head. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, maybe.
Ah, well,
But from the back view, I was like, what is he like? Why is he flopping?
right.
But then I saw the front view. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm being a little bit more, too much of a dick to poor Joner tonight. But at first, I thought for sure, I'm just like, man, you go one net against freaking Mike Smith, and look what happens.
Yeah. Now if he can shoot more accurately next time, so that way he doesn't just hand it to Scheifele for a goal. I thought one more thing. Timo Meier had a pretty solid game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kevin Labanc going down kind of said, look, if doesn't matter who you are, Kevin Labanc is clearly the prospect that the coaching staff seems to be highest on, but that sends a message like nobody's safe when you send a guy like that down. So I think Timo knows that if there's guys knocking on the door to come up, Kevin Labanc is probably going to have himself a hell of a game tomorrow. Nikolai Goldobin has played like 20 something games of just ridiculously good hockey. I mean, there's guys banging on the door to come up. Barclay Gaudreau, another guy who's played decently on the AHL level, who's could get a call. There's guys waiting to take those spots. If you can't fill them, there are guys that will come up and take those spots. And as long as Donskoy's out, there's spots open for the taking. So, I think that I think there was somewhat of a message being sent there, and I think Timo got the message loud and clear. And it's unfortunate that he got killed by an early whistle, and then was used as like a jet ski, just kind of jet skiing behind on the boat there. The guy was, holding onto his sweater, just kind of riding him into the zone. Like it's kind of shitty that, those kind of happened to him. Like both things happened to him, but it is what it is.
Mike Nevis in the chat says goalie's never coming up. PDB, not a goalie fan. Do you think that? I mean, he had a cup of coffee early last season, but is it because I mean, I don't know what it could be because of.
You know what? Honestly, I think the answer to that question will come at the trade deadline. I think if the Sharks are going to try and get a piece, then Goldobin could be a guy that they could use. If Peter DeBoer is never going to use him, then what's the point of keeping around his value? Like right now with how he's been in the AHL, like obviously there's, that's AHL, not NHL, but still,
right.
If you're not going to give him a look in the NHL, his value is as high as it's probably going to get right now.
Yeah.
So, but still, I think if, I don't know. It depends on what's in the plan, right?
But wouldn't you want to have Goldobin up in the NHL to kind of boost his trade value a little bit just to see what he's like? Because
if Peter DeBoer is going to play him for 4 minutes, then what's the point?
Well, that's true. That is a good point. If you're going to only play him 4 minutes, then it's not really worth it. Just kind of have that curiosity of sorts. But to me, I kind of almost sense with all these guys coming up, it's kind of a showcase of some sort where you have all these rookies out there. So if there is some sort of trade in the works and they kind of want to see the kids up in the
And
big
it's not
leagues.
even trade though either. I think another thing that people are overlooking, like, yeah, I mean, obviously it's trade season, so everyone's gonna think trade. These are additions for next year. There's gonna be
Oh,
spots
big
next year
time.
for these guys to take. So, for some of these guys are getting these guys are getting additions for next season, and I wouldn't rule that out either.
Yeah.
I don't think Goldobin's played this year.
No, Goldie hasn't played this year. He played
This year he did
early
get a cup of
last
coffee
year.
last year.
Yeah. Which was early on. I think he actually played in that Islanders game where Ben Smith got hurt. Yes, Ben Smith was a Shark early last season too. Kind of going through the chat here. Dell will handle it just like Budai. I think Dell deserves to have more chances in that, and I'm pretty sure he will get some in March.
Every time I read an article about how the Sharks need to do something with their goaltending, I want to punch people in the throats. And
yeah,
I love you, but I don't know what you're talking about today.
Jay Clark, Goodrow did play one game at Winnipeg.
Yeah, he played. Yeah. He did play.
Yeah,
but I mean, he kicked Peter DeBoer's dog. So if someone kicked your dog, you wouldn't play them either.
Let's see what else. Or was it? Oh, Chester Chivo saying, from what I understand, President Trump is a huge fan of Goldie. Oh man. Mike Nevis saying, and I'll let you do this since you're the Barracuda guru. Mm-hmm. How the hell does Marcus Sorensen get in before Goldie? It says a lot.
Because the one thing with Goldie, in my opinion, is that Goldie is kind of a top 6 or bust character, and I don't think they want to mess with their top 6 right now. Marcus Sorensen comes in with, he's a rookie in North America, but he's not a rookie. He has plenty of professional hockey under his belt, and I think it was on a road trip like this where the teams aren't as heavy. I think Zach said this last night on the writers' room too, where the teams aren't as heavy. These are perfect games to give a guy like Sorensen a look in, because he's more responsible, that you can throw him on your third, fourth line.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think Goldie is a top 6, and the only way that he does get called up is if there's somebody in the top 6. Wouldn't you say? If somebody in the top 6 goes down,
then I think I think Goldobin should have been given a look in the top 6 before Hertl came back and
exactly.
kind of solidified that spot. Like, I was really surprised that Hertl didn't get a look, or sorry, not Hertl, but Goldobin didn't get a look up there before Hertl came back. Personally, I'm not a huge fan. Like, I still think Bodker's an expendable piece on that second line, but it seems to be working. So I'm fine with them leaving it alone. But I also would like to see Goldobin with Marleau and Couture. I think that could be a fun line too.
Oh, big time.
But it is what it is.
My question is this: considering how they were pretty much rolling 4 lines tonight, whenever Jonas Donskoy gets back,
right,
where's he going into the lineup? Is he going to just be reinserted into the second line, or where do you put him?
Here's what I think. So Ryan Carpenter, I think, stays up until Donskoy's back. Okay. I think once Donskoy comes back, Carpenter goes down. I think if Hemo's still here, he plays probably on that fourth line. Donskoy will play with Hertl and I guess Carlson, and then your bottom line is going to be, or maybe Ward, and then maybe Ward, and then Carlson, and then I see like a Carlson, Haley, Hemo fourth line thing is what I would expect to see with Carpenter going back down. I personally would rather see Carpenter play over Haley, but that's again, it goes back to roles, and this is the role that obviously Peter DeBoer likes Haley in. I think the fact that Haley's drawn into the lineup the last 2 games over Carpenter is telling. And I think it's unfortunate. I think Carpenter really looks really good on that fourth line center. And I would much rather see like Carpenter there than Haley, because I think they can both play, they can both, obviously Carpenter's not going to go and beat you up like Haley does, but I'd still, if Haley's still drawing into the lineup regularly come playoffs, I'm going to be very pissed off. Like, I'm fine with it regular season, but when you hit the playoffs, when guys like that just have no purpose anymore, I'm gonna be pissed off to see him still drawing in.
And you make a good point there. Do you think that it's more strategy with Haley being in for certain games and Carpenter being in like in certain games? Like obviously you would have Haley, I guess, more so playing Buffalo if you have the option, or not Buffalo,
No,
playing
that makes
Edmonton.
no sense.
No,
Yeah.
playing Edmonton, but then you would have Carpenter maybe playing more against the speedier teams.
Well, I mean, and that we didn't see that tonight. Buffalo's a pretty fast team, as we saw tonight. Like, look at the ways they basically pulled odd man rushes and then just blew past the defenseman.
Yeah.
Is that a game you really want Haley in? I don't think so. But when you look at how Peter DeBoer deploys this line, I mean, Haley's the guy whether we like it or not. And I know I don't want to completely 180 because I was very much on the, not that I was on Team Haley, but I understood it to the point where I was done arguing about it or done bitching about it every show online. Like, I don't like to have these repetitive talking points that others do.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
To quote Mike Nevis saying another TSN quality breakdown. Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, no problem.
Which Gen X says TSN quality breakdown. I didn't see Ian break out a monkey or shoot someone in the crotch with the t-shirt cannon.
Yeah, we're working on the t-shirt cannon.
We'll borrow one from Sharky.
I need to find something that I can shoot in the crotch on camera here locally, obviously, since I can't shoot people in the crotch through the internet. But we're working on it.
Just borrow one of the Greyhounds, and I think it'll be okay. They need some grit and strength, right? We need more grit, right? Somebody asked in the chat earlier, is Columbus a buyer or a seller? I would think they would be a buyer more than anything else, right?
You would ideally, I think they'd be a buyer, but they've got a lot of dead cap space on their books, and it might come back and bite them now that they're actually decent.
Now, what do you think for this deadline? Because there's a little more twist to it because of the expansion draft. Do you think that there's going to be more moves at the deadline or less?
I think the deadline itself is going to just be the normal dreadful awfulness that it always is. But I wouldn't be surprised to see like a bunch of moves heading up to the deadline, kind of like we did last year, where like everything happened the week before, and then when the actual deadline came itself, nothing really went down.
Right.
There's some teams that are going to have to make some interesting moves, flat out. Like they have to make moves. Either they need to trade players to, they need to trade some player rights to Vegas, which I don't know how that would even work. Like, it's like you're playing and then they trade you to Vegas for next year and you're done playing for the year. I don't know.
I didn't know that was even remotely possible.
Well, I guess they apparently they're allowed to start like making deals and stuff like at the trade deadline. So that's my understanding. I'd have to go double check that. But it's the situation where you could see, if teams can't make deals for guys, like obviously, look, you look at a team like Pittsburgh, for example, if they can't move Marc-Andre Fleury, Matt Murray's gone.
Really? You think Matt Murray's gone? You think Matt Murray's gone?
They can't protect him. They have to protect Fleury. He has a no move.
Oh gosh.
So if they can't move Marc-Andre Fleury, then Vegas can take Matt Murray from them. And I think if you're Pittsburgh, you don't want that. So either they have to move Fleury, or they're going to have to do like we did, except it's going to cost them a lot more. But remember when the, I want to say it was the Thrashers and the Wild that came in at the same time?
Thrashers were a year separate. It was Wild and Blue Jackets that came at the same time.
Because I remember we had to make the Sharks made 2 trades to protect Nabokov.
Right. I think it was 2000 with the Wild and Blue Jackets.
Okay, so I couldn't remember exactly what it was, but I remember distinctly the Sharks making 2 moves where they're like, hey, we can't protect this prospect goalie, but we don't want you to take him, so take this, and on the understanding you won't take. Now for Pittsburgh, like Evgeny Nabokov hadn't even played an NHL game at that point yet, I don't think.
Right.
So for Pittsburgh, who has a goalie who may have backstopped you to a Stanley Cup, might take you a little more to make sure that you don't lose that, you don't lose that player. It's not going to be just like, here's, Joe Blow the prospect. I think that it's going to be interesting to see what Vegas can pull out of them to not take Matt Murray.
Whoever they get for a goaltender for the Vegas placeholders will be very interesting. Although, if we do a Pucknology trade special, don't worry. Even if the person is at work, you will make sure we have this on hand.
We have a trade to announce.
Yes. And yes, Ian will be playing the role of Darren Drager and Bob McKenzie, if that were to take place.
Yes. Let's not mention Ian Reed's name with either of those two esteemed gentlemen, please. I don't belong in the same sentence, but yeah, I'll be kicking around and telling you what's going on.
Yeah, no,
I won't break any insider info, but I can tell you what happens after the fact, just like everyone else.
What? What? No,
I don't have. What do you think? I'm gonna be sitting here on my phone going, Jeff Merrick, please answer my tweet. Please answer my tweet.
That's both of us.
Jeff, tell me stuff, please. Pretty, please. Pretty, please. No, that's not going to happen.
We'll just bug Gen X to bug them for us. Maybe we'll get them out there. Oh my goodness. Nonetheless, again, it was another rainy day. So, Christine, I know you just said like all those flood alerts I got today. I want a Twade
alert. I'll start having our crack mobile team make an app for you guys.
Yes, we'll get right. Shh, they don't need to know that. Gen X saying you want me to have Merrick text you? Yes, and yes. I will DM my phone number right now as we speak.
Mine too.
Yes.
I need text.
No, don't give it to Ian. Oh, Ian.
Yeah, I think that. So I mean, there's some interesting things that I think have to happen to the trade deadline to get back on my thought, but whether those things actually happen or not, who knows? I mean, teams game the system all the time, so it'll be interesting to see. But I think the deadline is more intriguing only because of the expansion draft looming.
Yeah. I just can't see. See, part of me senses that there's going to be moves to kind of get early on to avoid the mess that the expansion draft could be, but at the same thing, it's like,
I love it.
Oh, I mean, only two teams are pretty much done for in the entire league right now because the entire Eastern Conference is still in contention, and Arizona and Colorado aren't. But hey. If they can convince Pavel Datsyuk to come back from Russia and Chris Pronger to come out of retirement, man, the Coyotes could make a quick rush in the end there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Kind of going through the chat. Speaking of the app, Chris says I'm the only engineer at Pucknology and I don't have the time.
Oh, there you have it.
Sorry to disappoint you. Gen X says he'll have Cole.
I would talk to Kobe Armstrong.
Excellent. When is the expansion draft? I believe it's right before the entry draft, if I'm not mistaken.
I feel like, yeah, that's all blurred up. I don't even... Oh, that's going to be so busy for me.
Gen X, don't tell me, dude.
I'd talk to Kobe Armstrong for hours.
All right.
Talk to anyone. Be my friend.
Yes. The 2017 NHL expansion draft will take place on June 18th through 20th, 27th. Really, it's going to take them 3 days for them to figure this out, with the selections announced on June 21st. So we'll find. So man, oh man, Drager.
I'm curious if they're going to what I'm hoping is that the teams release who they're protecting before, so we can all, take those lists and then really have some fun with it before the actual teams are announced.
But see, here's the thing, though. There's going to be leaks up the wazoo. From whether it's from Kyprios or Drager or McKenzie or even Kurz or
Oh, not
or
Kurz.
LA
Kurz
Kings
doesn't know
insider. Shh. Come on. Be nice.
anything. I'm nice. Kurz knows I love him.
Kurz or Chris?
Both of them.
Okay. But really, they're going to have them take 3 days to decide 30 slots? That's interesting. That's real interesting.
Well, they're gonna have to like cap it out and stuff like that. I look, man, sit down and actually try and do it. Like, even
No, I mean, I've done a couple of them. I think I did.
It's
one
not fun.
during-
I mean,
Oh,
it takes
no.
forever. We did one for Writer's Room, and this was a while back now, but we did one for
Right.
Writer's Room. And honestly, I think it took me I thought, yeah, I'll sit down for an hour or two and I'll get this all hammered out. It took me forever to get the thing hammered out. I mean, it was a fun show, but oh my God, I'm like, I
in fact still think you have. I think I still have the graphic for
I have that somewhere.
Yeah, I have them somewhere here too. Let me see if I still have it. Oh yeah, I have read. There we are. Look at that. Look at that. See, we're bringing more info than ever before, people. Yeah, this is Ian Reed Golden Knights, which we use the hashtag Puck those nights. Yeah, you went Kane, Camilleri, Wilson, Cody Eakin, Mac Reed. Hey, this is a pretty solid group here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it would look like now because of, I mean, this was way back, so I'm sure I'd probably go back and change some of these now. But yeah, I think, or if some of these guys might not be, might not be available. Like Evander Kane, I'm not sold that Evander Kane will be available in the expansion draft anymore.
I'm trying to figure out who your goaltenders were in here.
They were probably on another page because that's just my forwards.
Well, yeah, that's your forwards. Let me see if I can pull this up. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Oh, yeah, you had Murray, Ranton, and Wassois.
Yeah.
I said that right. Right? Yeah. TJ Brody, that's a good. Cam Fowler. Oh, yeah, they were talking.
Again, I don't know if Cam Fowler is going to be available anymore. I mean, at first, when we originally did these, Evander Kane's super in the doghouse. Matt Murray I took because, even though I don't expect him to be available when the expansion draft goes down, he's the best goalie on the board. And then I kind of just went through everyone else here and just, so I don't know, like Cam Fowler, is Cam Fowler going to be out there? I don't know. Be interesting to see what he take.
It's possible with all the no movement clauses that Anaheim has. I mean, they were talking about that on TSN 1040 today, where I mean, with all that, Anaheim is going to be exposing something big.
Oh, they're going to have to. And another team too is, Chicago. Chicago's basically, they don't have any choices to make. I don't think they might get one choice based on their no movement clauses. I think that basically the no movement clauses basically make all their decisions for them. So they just have to sit there and hope that, whoever, they don't lose a significant enough piece.
Right. The irony if they lose Jalmerson. So, all right. Final thoughts, Mr. Reed? I think we're
we've beat this enough, haven't we? No, I mean, this game sucks, and this is 2 games now where, this is 2 points, in my opinion. The Sharks have kind of flushed down the toilet.
Yep.
Let's hope this isn't a trend that continues. This is a month where they should be able to rack up the points, and they should be able to put teams away. And if they don't, then if they get past in the standings, I mean, right now it seems like the Oilers are having a little bit of trouble, and the Ducks are kind of hit or miss. But you can't count on that to last the rest of the season. So if you're gonna blow a bunch of points this month and then go into March, I think I don't think like things are scary, like miss the playoffs scary, but things definitely, you could end up in a much less favorable position, home ice advantage wise and whatnot. And I think that would be unfortunate because it's really, they're only going to have themselves to blame.
Yeah. I mean, this is the month that they should be playing pretty well.
Yep.
And like Chris says, the game didn't suck mostly just last 10 minutes, which is, yeah, that's true. Play like you did the first 50 consistently, you'll be fine. Absolutely. I think you just get back to your game, play solid goaltending, have puck possession. You did that a lot tonight. You can do that for a full 60 minutes. I mean, heck yeah. I think you should be fine. Albeit Boston is the next opponent, and they'll have they're not good, but they'll have their new coach. And I don't have the record on me about when we go up against interim head coaches, but I'm sure they'll be psyched and ready to go for that game for sure.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's funny. It's another coach though that is basically falling on the sword for shitty management.
Oh, you mean Don Sweeney?
Yeah.
Ah, no, never.
Yeah, I think when you look at the, I think you could make the case that Capuano was not a great coach, and I definitely hear that. But I think you look at Gallant as well. I think these guys are victims of some shitty management.
Yeah, no, completely agree. Boston's in a rough hole, but well, as we've seen tonight, and even with the Arizona Coyotes, that doesn't deter anything. I mean, but you got to nip this in the butt for sure. No doubt about it. I mean, they should take care of Boston, and then you got tough morning games against Philly and New Jersey back to back. So they got to get that in check for sure. So final thoughts in the chat. By the way, Connor McDavid, Group 2 RFA after the 2017-18 season. Suck it.
I heard him.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yes, Chester. Jones has to play his former team on Thursday. Yep. That's true. That's true.
The Sharks are 0-11 bajillion facing backup head coaches.
Oh, man. That's hilarious. Oh, yes.
Oh, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not too concerned. I'll be here all week, let's be honest.
That's true. He is an angry Canadian robot. We just need to put his backup batteries in and power him up.
I'll be here on this after those crappy morning games.
Oh gosh. So of course, subscribe here. This is the live interactive Sharks post-game show after every game. The only one in town, so make sure you subscribe. We'll do this throughout. I believe Chris said we were at 167 straight Sharks post-game shows. Yes. For more info and Sharks news and opinions, visit Pucknology.net. And, of course, follow all of our social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, the YouTube channel for Pucknology Writers Room. Also, don't forget, if you missed any of this podcast tonight, you can also check it out on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, MySpace, you name it, we have it.
It's Pucknology After Brunch. Thank you very much.
That's right. You're gonna have Sharks breakfast, and then coming up it'll be Pucknology After Brunch. Yes. Oh, that means I gotta waiting for the day for everyone has a lower third like Mr. Turner. Let's hope we can finally.
Artistic enough.
That's what you have me for. So, with that, we'll get out of here. For Ian Reed, I'm Eric Curry. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at PuckGuy14. He's at I Read Pucknology, REID. Left swipe Ian on Tinder. Oh, wow, that's messed up. Pucknology After Mimosas. There we go. Yes. And don't forget, there will be a Pucknologist podcast that also comes out tomorrow or late tonight. They're actually recording that right now. So that'll be on after that. So you definitely have a lot of podcast watching and listening to for next couple days. And plus also there's a bonus Friday night edition of the Pucknologist, I believe, coming out. But of course, before then, we will be back with you following Sharks and Bruins, where Jones and Jumbo the Joe Thornton will take on their former team, the Boston Bruins.
And doubleheader Sunday, because after the New Jersey game, we'll do Pucknology After Dark, and then later that evening, we will do Writer's Room as normal.
Just because we need to torment Ian Reed that much more during the weekend.
All right, I'm saying bye to everybody. Or run this down.
I am saying. So for Ian, I'm Eric. Have a great night. Keep it real. Keep it tight. Keep it real tight. And Ian's gone. He just left. I mean, he's like, gone. Oh, I guess I'll hit the stop podcast button. So have a great night, everyone. We'll see you on Thursday.